Jason?
Yes. If funding is so high in the state, why is our school districts failing here in Southern Colorado?
So last year in the general election, Clarice Navarro had beat Jason Munoz. She's a Republican, he's a Democrat, and she had beat him by nearly 2,000 votes, by about 6 percentage points.
Okay. Rebuttal?
Are you asking me a question?
Now, this is a debate that they had put on by the Pueblo chieftain, I think they said at the community college, so at PCC.
I posed the question. We're in a debate together. I was just wondering, if funding is so high, why is our school district failing?
And I'll be honest, this is great TV. This is great TV. This is great television. You can clearly see that they didn't really like each other, but it drew a great distinction between the two.
I'd also like to thank my opponent for being here to discuss the issues facing our community.
They didn't like each other, but Jason Munoz almost seems like he was bent over backwards trying to be nice and respectful of her.
I posed the question. We're in a debate together. I was just wondering, if funding is so high, why is our school district failing?
Criticizing her on her policy, whereas she just had an infinite amount of seething anger and rage right underneath the surface.
The school districts have a spending problem and a priority issue. That is why.
And it's clear to me that Clarice Navarro is evil. She's a bad human being. She's a psychopath.
Representative Navarro suggested that she's been an advocate for water, and I just wanted to know where she was on the rain barrel bill, which had bipartisan support, and even the Farm Bureau was in support of that. So I'm not sure where she was on that one.
Now, both were a little bit douchey, like right here.
So are you not sure, or are you asking me how I voted?
I don't know. Where were you?
But this was an important moment because it basically shows Clarice Navarro is a bully. She's a fascist, right-wing, asshole bully. She's the white supremacist racist. She's the Hispanic against the Hispanics. She's the house slave. She's the Uncle Tom.
So you haven't researched my record?
Well. Did you want to respond beyond that?
I'm fine.
Okay. Anything else? All right.
So this was a great moment because since she is a bully, it's clear she's an asshole. She's a fascist asshole. She's a bully. And here you can see that she's a bully. He asked her a direct question, and it was a good point. And then she, in order to bid for more time, she asked, is that a question? Are you asking me that question, or are you just stating it, right? Like real snarky.
Okay. Rebuttal?
Are you asking me a question?
And it does get him to back down a little bit.
I posed the question. We're in a debate together. I was just wondering, if funding is so high, why is our school district failing?
So he made the strong point. He should have said, yes, I want to know exactly where you were. But instead he says, I'm being polite, I'm being respectful. He's bending over backwards to be nice to her. And it's clear to anybody Jason is a good man. He's a gentleman. He's a gentleman versus this psycho. So you got a psycho on one side and you got a gentle person on the other.
So you haven't researched my record?
Well.
But the other distinction that I want to make, she didn't answer the question. So who knows if the water barrel bill or whatever he was talking about, who knows where she stood on that issue. She just gives some snark. Oh, well then you must not know my record then, huh? You didn't read my record?
So you haven't researched my record?
Well.
Okay, well, that's a non-response. You didn't answer the damn question. But listen to all of her bully, fascist, asshole fans. She didn't answer the question. She was just a shitty bastard, and they all started clapping.
Did you want to respond beyond that?
I'm fine.
Okay. Anything else? All right.
So it was almost as if not only was she shocked, I mean, how dare anybody question her? How dare anybody ever question her? She's good through and through. Just trust her and do as she says. So she's ticked off that anybody would ever question her. How dare you question the great Clarice Navarro? How dare you? So that's what those bully assholes, they were celebrating her being a shitbag, a shithead. Yay, you didn't answer the question. Yay, you did not answer the question and you were a shitty asshole. Excellent. That's what we came here to see. We didn't actually want to hear your positions on anything. We didn't actually want to hear a robust conversation. You're our horse. You're picking Donald Trump. You're our Hispanic against the Hispanics. They couldn't wait to line up right in her ass.
So you haven't researched my record.
Well, did you want to respond beyond?
We should definitely give it up to the moderator because I think he did his job perfectly. He tossed a question up there, and then he got back into the background. So he asked the question and then allowed them to answer how they want to answer, let them go back and forth. He also sat right in the middle between them like, you know, children when they don't like each other, you got to sit in between them. But that's okay. He kept it respectful.
Part of the state.
Well, it definitely takes a representative who's willing to listen to the other side and find compromise to find reasonable solutions to these problems. As I mentioned, there's there's a funding inequality that our school districts in this state have, and it's absolutely not fair that students in District 47, Otero County, Pueblo, and Fremont counties are not receiving the same opportunities and funding that the students in Cherry Creek and Boulder are receiving. So as a representative, I will be a vocal advocate, and I will fight every day to see that we get our fair share of the pie here in Southern Colorado.
For Clarice Navarro, I was a little bit shocked that she stated in front of all of her right-wing Republican asshole friends.
Well, this is a wonderful question. Thank you so much, because I demonstrate this each and every year. There are so many times that I have voted against my own leadership because it is right. It's what the right thing to do for my district.
That she did work with Democrats in order to get things accomplished. So I think that took some courage because it might have pissed off her base.
I represent a very diverse district, and not every Republican agrees with how do we spend money. And I'm okay with being that different voice, and I'm also okay with being the only Republican that sides with Democrats when it's an important issue.
I think it's important that in the legislature, the representative from 47 expresses to the Denver delegation and those up north how important the state fair is to our community.
Jason Munoz was hitting her on her not being bipartisan over and over again.
Now, my opponent likes to say that she has gone against party leadership, and she accused me of not doing research on her. Well, my research shows that in 41 votes where there was bipartisan votes, she's voted party line 39 times. So if voting 2 times against party leadership is going against that and ending gridlock, I would disagree.
So she had to say something, and so I think he made her at least more bipartisan than what she had started out with. So Jason Munoz had a good effect on her.
For one, it's an economic developer. It is entrenched in our culture, heritage, and who we are. I will fight tooth and nail to keep the state fair in Pueblo. And just like I won't let Denver take our water, I won't let Denver take our state fair.
So that's the reason why this debate was important. It's the only thing that matters in the debate are the policies. We also get to learn some of their biography, some of where they came from. She grew up in a different county. He grew up here. She grew up on a ranch, and she bought and sold steers, whereas, she's never been homeless.
And how many more unnecessary tests do we need to push on our students? I would like to start there.
Clarice?
Well, as a state representative from Pueblo, I think I've done a fine job in keeping the state fair here.
I want to mention this too because we have a school board race and we need to get democracy into the classrooms. We need democracy into the school system. How come only one police chief ran for office? How come only one police chief applied to be police chief? How come this strong mayor, this strange mayor ballot question is gaining any traction whatsoever?
My opponent talks about smaller government and reinvesting in her community. I'm just curious, if Donald Trump wins and my opponent wins, is she going to help Donald Trump expand government to deport all of the people that he talks about?
I meet with them and I meet within the communities. I meet with the sheriffs and I meet with those on the ground and back here who are keeping us safe.
And if so, how is that investing in the community?
Strange mayor, the only way that you would be in favor of strange mayor is if you don't understand our fucking system what's so goddamn neighbor. We got a strong chief executive. We have the ability to vote for our representatives. So do you just not understand that our representatives choose the CEO, and if you want the CEO to do as you say, then you need to get your representative to put the pressure on him? Do you not understand that? And if you don't understand that, then you shouldn't be running for office or voting. You are not an informed voter. If you don't understand that Sam Azad, the city manager, is basically our de facto mayor, he's the one in charge, he's the one that does anything and everything. Steve Norwalkie is the face, but Sam Azad, his office, is the mayor. He gets paid wonderfully. His entire office, he's got 2 deputies, they're getting paid wonderfully. So getting a strange mayor who has high pay doesn't change anything. You still got a strong executive who's making a ton of money, and you're going to have a strong executive who makes a ton of money. The structure doesn't change. Some of the process does.
Unfortunately, my opponent isn't aware that we have seasonal and migrant workers in our district.
Well, first of all, as I mentioned in my announcement speech, I am running as a Democrat.
I think having a public option in each and every industry would be a good idea, and the internet, that's, not just having Wi-Fi. Let's get some fiber optics. The Chattanooga, Tennessee, they have Wi-Fi, and they're 50 times faster than the entire country. They got fiber optics and Wi-Fi, because you can't have it purely Wi-Fi. You're going to have a combination. But once you get all those access points, and once you get the cables and once you get that network all networked out, it'd be good. I think Minneapolis does it. It's like $8 a month, $8 a month for high-speed internet. And like I said, in Chattanooga, it's 50 times faster. It's cheaper and it's faster.
I have been in meetings in Manzanola for many, many months, listening to their concerns. I have voiced my concerns.
I'd like to thank those that have made my candidacy possible. First and foremost, thanks be to God. Without you, nothing is possible.
I have discussed this issue specifically, and I don't believe that deporting 11 million people is even possible.
There was only one person that ran for water board for, decades. There's only one person that ran for civil service board for decades. This is a failure of the school system. This is a failure of are they not teaching civics? Are they not teaching about the political structure? The entire school system is political as fuck. You have Michael Stapleton, who's against universal education. He's against universal education.
Then we will achieve goals like ensuring our water is clean, safe, and protected, providing a quality education for our children, increasing access and affordability to quality health care, improving our roads and infrastructure, and protecting our way of life.
Clarice?
Thank you. I've been endorsed by the Colorado Federal Order of Police, by the Colorado Federal Order of Police, by the Colorado Federal Order of Police.
The point I want to make about Clarice Navarro is that she once mentioned that she was an educator. To teach like a champion, you have to get 100% compliance. She's a fucking fascist Nazi. She's not used to being questioned. Her way is the right way. So if she's and is standing in front of the class just bellowing out a bunch of lies, the kids have to sit there and take her abuse. The school system is an industrial Prussian school system. We are training our kids to work for the 1950s generation, to get into the factories, to listen to the bell system, to be good little peasants, to be good, obedient peasants. But since we're in a brave new world now, since we have the internet, then so this is the internet generation, the information generation, we need to teach to this postmodern society.
And we'll now have opening remarks from Jason Munoz.
Thank you. Good evening, Southern Colorado. I am Jason Munoz, and I am a Democrat running for House District 47.
And if we're not learning democracy in the classrooms, where are we learning democracy from? Where is our ability to sit in groups and talk to each other about issues, to disagree respectfully?
That is the most direct contact that you can have, is asking those that are serving and protecting. I will continue to keep those visits up. I will keep visiting and finding new answers and new solutions. We need to let them protect us and let them do their job.
Right, to disagree without being disagreeable, to stand up and to listen to each other. If you have an opinion, what are your reasons for those opinions? Stand up and say that, and then to collectively make decisions. Okay, here's what we're going to decide. If we're not learning those democratic practices and those democratic principles in our school system, we don't learn them anywhere. We're not going to learn it at McDonald's. We're not going to learn it at Walmart.
I'd also like to thank my opponent for being here to discuss the issues facing our community.
Thank you. I agree. I believe that personal accountability is definitely an issue that we need to work on.
So when I heard that Clarice Navarro, being that she is such a super hyper-partisan, she is a hyper-partisan. She isn't just basically libertarian, she's a Republican. So she's part of the Republican Party. She's in favor of Donald Trump hating Hispanics. So that's a brilliant idea, getting some Wi-Fi that captures the imagination, and hopefully he considers that trash to electricity program too. And fuck that opera. Fuck your opera, man.
Now listen, I'm not your typical politician. I'm the son of a blue-collar family who's worked hard to overcome my challenges in life, and trust me, I've had my fair share of challenges.
So when I found out that she was a teacher, when I found out that Clarice Navarro was a teacher, she was a teacher, she was teaching our kids, I would not want her around my kids whatsoever. This makes me wonder, what are the political values and viewpoints of all the teachers in the school system right now? I'm sending my son or daughter to go to Clarice Navarro, and they have to say Mrs. Navarro, give her all the respect in the fucking world, while she's sitting there saying, I don't care about your taxes, I don't care about your welfare, it's all about me, it's all about mine, it's all about my family, fuck all you all.
And again, we have to be supportive of those that are protecting us. Thank you.
Her priority is taxes. Her priority is taxes, and his priority was making sure that the social services were being funded fully. So that way, people had food and
Funding for education, and not just funding, but equal funding for our school districts here in 47 and across the board. I'd also like to see some bills and work get done to improve our infrastructure, our transportation, and of course, keeping the water in the Arkansas River Valley Basin.
I'm sure he's for low taxes, but he wants to make sure that these programs are up and working, so he wants to see these programs be successful. She could give a fuck less about the programs. Her thing is taxes. Her thing is taxes. So if she could, eliminate all taxes, it helps her rich buddies and friends, and it fucks over the poor. So being that she's a hyper-partisan, if she was a teacher and she's teaching 100% compliance, my kid has to sit there while she lies and about her greediness and her selfishness, and he's got to sit there and listen to all her fucking bullshit? Why the fuck does he have to sit there and listen to all her bullshit?
And so I just want to say thank you and congratulations to all of you that are doing it and doing the hard work. It takes a lot of time, a lot of dedication, and a lot of money. I talk to dentists, I talk to physicians who struggle trying to pay their own student loans. I talk to lawyers who are still struggling to pay for their education. So this is an issue that we have to visit, and I look forward to working on that.
Which is a desire most of us share. Just last year, I went back to school for the last time. It took me 17 years to get a college degree, but absolutely worth it in the end.
And I think that's a major problem with the education system. She didn't give a shit about those kids. She don't care where they're at if they're doing well today. She oppressed them. She told them what to do. She got her paycheck. She's a careerist. She did everything for her own damn self. She didn't give a crap about those kids. And if you're a parent and you're sending your kid to these teachers and you don't know their politics, you don't know what they're teaching, you don't know how they're treating the kids, 100% compliance, well, hell, that's almost corresponding with the 95% retention rate with incumbents. A 95% rate for incumbents. It's almost like if you get power, you keep power. If you get the money and you get the power and you get the job, you keep it. But if you walk in as a student, you do all the damn work for free, and you don't go anywhere. You don't get any power. You don't get any money. You get to be made a fucking bitch. You get to be made a damn slave to a person who doesn't give a shit about you.
I was born in Pueblo and raised on the east side. When I was growing up, my dad was a steel worker at the CF&I, and my mom worked in retail at the Pueblo Mall. Like so many local families, they worked hard, paycheck to paycheck, to provide for my sister and I. And without their love and dedication, I don't know where I'd be today. So I thank them. Thank you.
And the most important thing about this were the policies. I can extrapolate what Jason Munoz believes, and I can extrapolate what Clarice Navarro means. I know what they both stand for.
Funding for education, and not just funding, but equal funding for our school districts here in 47 and across the board. I'd also like to see some bills and work get done to improve our infrastructure, our transportation, and of course, keeping the water in the Arkansas River Valley Basin.
So we're figuring out some issues. She kept repeating the lines that she's against taxes, she's against unfunded mandates. I'm not for sure. She's against the mandate, right? She's not against, she doesn't want to fund the mandates. She's against the mandates, she's against regulation, she's against taxes.
I went to public schools and graduated from Central High School. When I was 16, I started working at Dewdrop Inn as a pizza runner. It was a cool job, but I worked it because I enjoyed helping customers and solving problems. Today, at the Shamrock Brewing Company, I'm still doing the same thing. So for 20 years now, I've been serving the public. After graduation and about a year of college, I applied for and was accepted to the Walt Disney World College Internship Program. My experiences working in theme parks left a positive impression on me because I learned that there is a big world out there, and I wanted to improve my piece of it. So I came back to Pueblo to finish college. But when the financial crisis hit and I lost my job, I found myself without a way to pay for school, a situation so many of us here face.
She's a small government conservative, right? That's what her line is. She's a small government conservative. Less taxes, especially for funding for the essential services that all the people need when it comes to school, when it comes to health care, versus when it comes to infrastructure, when it comes to internet, versus Jason Munoz, his focus is mostly on those programs. So I'm sure she would provide some of those programs, but she's definitely against health care. She's 100% against universal health care. Jason Munoz is in favor of universal health care.
I was a semester and a half away from graduating when I attended trade school, which unfortunately isn't a priority in the legislature, and I intend to change that. This trade school offered me free tuition to learn how to deal blackjack and craps in Colorado's gaming towns. After completing the program, I was hired by a Cripple Creek casino to work the tables. The road was long, but I was grateful to be self-sufficient once again.
Thank you. And I'd like to remind everyone that over a course of 1 year, we vote on over 800 pieces of legislation.
The internet's isn't going to go away anytime soon. It's not the yo-yo. It's not a hula hoop. It's not pogs. It's not fidget spinners.
This is a great opportunity and a great subject where we can work across the state with other legislators to really come together to a foundation where our higher education will benefit. We have seen extraordinary changes in technology, and I think that is something wonderful.
So Jason Munoz, we would get more services. He would make sure that the things that we all agree on, because that's the idea of taxes. So I'm not against the idea of taxes. We all pay our fair share, and then we put our money into a big pot, and then we decide where all that money gets distributed.
When I was teaching at the high school, I went back into a classroom where I was teaching out of a book that I actually learned out of 20 years later.
So it should be an exciting day for a society. We all put our money together, and then once we put our money together, okay, let's fund education, let's fund infrastructure, let's fund health care. These are all things that Jason Munoz believes.
So I'm so excited for our next generation coming up and all the opportunities that are here, and I look forward to working with each and every one of you and all of the presidents at the universities and the community colleges.
Well, you know, as I mentioned in my opening, it took me a long time to go through college, and I know firsthand how difficult it is to not only pay for schooling, but to go through the work of getting that higher education. And you know, my personal story would attest to the
Am I first?
Yes, Clarice, I'm sorry.
Thank you. My presidential nominee has the business experience that we need to turn this country around. My presidential nominee asked me how we can better serve Colorado. And most importantly, what's important in Southern Colorado. That speaks volumes when someone is that involved and that engaged to take the minute and ask the questions.
And now, with a family of my own to support and provide for, I'm ready to take positive action for Southern Colorado, and I hope I earn your vote.
She is the Hispanic person that white people will back in order for her to get rid of the dreamers, to get rid of DACA, to get rid of 800,000 children who are brought to this country by their parents, to ship them back.
Now begin the question and answer portion of the program. And Clarice, you'll handle the first question. What do you consider to be the most significant bills that you have sponsored during your time in the Colorado House?
Thank you for the question.
And I hope to live by your examples. I'm excited to participate in tonight's important discussion on the issues our district faces, and I hope to earn your vote.
Thank you. And I'd like to remind everyone that over a course of 1 year, we vote on over 800 pieces of legislation.
I'm running for this office because we need a representative who will be better at finding solutions to the issues we face today.
All the bills that I have been able to pass and be part of are vitally important to not only House District 47, but through our state.
Without you, nothing is possible. I have to give a big thank you to my amazing partner, Jessica, for all you do for me and our family. You've been supportive of me in this race, and I honestly couldn't do it without you. We need a representative who will take positive action for the people of the district, not the Denver lobbyists or party leaders, and certainly not Donald Trump.
I have been able to pass bills that have helped our veterans,
rather than just saying no. We need a representative who will be better at planning ahead for the future of our community.
and helped their families' lives. I have worked on bills for education, for small business.
Also, thank you for being a loving and caring mother to our joyful son, Gabriel. He is the greatest thing to happen to me, and I love you both.
And for our farmers and ranchers. I have a great record for protecting Colorado's water and keeping it here in Colorado.
And another special thank you to my grandparents, both on my dad's side who have passed, and my mom's side, Fred and Rosemary DeLeon, who are watching on TV tonight. Your stories, struggles, and perseverance have been an inspiration to me.
That is something that is, thank you. That's something that's very important to the Arkansas Valley.
He believes in funding infrastructure, transportation, education, health care, And then he also made sure, he wants to make sure that there's water in the Arkansas River Basin. So he's fighting for water too. And he's also fighting for education funds to be equal. Why is Boulder and I think he said Cherry Hill or some other place, Cherry Creek, why are they getting all the money and then we don't get our equal share? So we should get an equal share. How come, is that true? What the fuck is going on there? We're not getting our equal share of funding? Well, that's the reason that the teachers don't have enough money.
And I feel that having those opportunities, you have to be very careful and make sure that they will help Otero, Fremont, and Pueblo alike.
Away from violence and crime. That's definitely one way to start.
Okay. Rebuttal?
Are you asking me a question?
Clarice Navarro.
I posed the question. We're in a debate together. I was just wondering, if funding is so high, why is our school district failing?
I have been in meetings in Manzanola for many, many months, listening to their concerns. I have voiced my concerns.
So at the legislature, I will work tirelessly. I will talk to experts to find the best solutions that we can pass in the legislature to help curb this severe problem that we're having.
I have been in meetings in Manzanola for many, many months, listening to their concerns. I have voiced my concerns.
I believe the communities in 47 and all of southern Colorado will have a better and stronger economy when we work together as good neighbors and not political opponents.
I have been in meetings in Manzanola for many, many months, listening to their concerns. I have voiced my concerns.
The thing that I don't really like about the golf courses, we own the golf courses, but they, they're provided at cost. Their profits equal their expenses, so the city doesn't pay the golf courses any money. They did give a $72,000 air conditioner to Elmwood Golf Course, but the golf courses, they, make money. They're profitable. The problem that I have with them is it affordable for poor people? Can any poor people, do they have a poor people week? A poor people, is it free for the public for a week? Get people out there to try that's never tried it before. Get an hour for the driving range. Just if you're a citizen of Pueblo, this is a golf course that the city owns, so therefore you should share in the wealth of everybody here.
Clarice, you'll answer this question first. Do you believe the legislature needs to work on improving state laws regarding marijuana? What exactly do you believe needs to happen?
That's an excellent question.
Clarice Navarro.
Since my time in the legislature, this is an issue that we fight every year. I have been a co-sponsor on several bills that protect our children against marijuana and the use and abuse, and I will continue that. And every year that we come back, we find problems that have come about that we didn't think about the prior year. And as time goes on, we continue to visit, not only with our communities, but with the industry. And I will continue to do that.
Okay. Clarice?
Thank you. As most of you know, I was born and raised in Los Animas, Colorado.
Because of state representatives such as Clarice Navarro, who want to cut all the funding, who believe in austerity. She's pro-austerity, and he's not. So he would want low taxes, but he believes in government, and so I believe that he would be pro-taxes, whereas she's anti-all taxes, any and all taxes, and that government just needs to get out of the way, except she wants smaller government except for the fascism. She wants more ICE members coming in here. She wants more deportations. She wants bigger government when it comes to coming in here and pulling out the dreamers.
My family owned a restaurant in Rocky Ford, Colorado. I spent many summers and many weekends working there.
How dare you come in here with your damn family? I don't care if you're 1 year old. You was 1 year old, so that means you are not an American. You came with your mom and dad. You've been living here the entire time. You only know America. Now get back to your homeland of Mexico.
I am engaged in this community from La Junta, Colorado, to Penrose, to Fremont. I have lived it, I know it, and everything that I work for is for them.
You've been here, you went to kindergarten here, you went to elementary school here, you went to high school here. You speak English, everything you know, you don't even understand Spanish. You've been Americanized through and through, and now Donald Trump and Clarice Navarro is going to kick you out and send you back to Mexico. So she doesn't believe in universal health care. She doesn't believe that our taxes should go for our health, and health is life, so therefore she's not principled.
I will continue my work. I will continue my work on less regulation, less mandates, less testing for our students, and less taxes. There is nothing more important than getting our people back to work and reinvesting into our communities.
She doesn't have principles. Health care is a right because we have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Health is life. So freedom in the pursuit of happiness doesn't mean anything unless we have life.
So thank you.
Clarice Navarro.
I'm just excited to the opportunity to be your next representative so that I can show you what true bipartisan representative looks like.
To begin with, that is guaranteed. So since life is guaranteed, she wouldn't spend money for universal health care, but she would spend billions of dollars to send these dreamers back over the border. Get the hell out of here, you damn dreamers, even though they're not here for, of any fault of their own. She doesn't have compassion. She doesn't care. Clarice Navarro.
Okay, our third question, Clarice will answer it first, and it's a similar question. The state fairgrounds and buildings there are in desperate need of improvements and renovation. The state legislature continues to fund things like the Western Stock Show, but not some things in southern Colorado. How do you persuade the rest of the state to support the fair?
This is a great topic, and this is something that I've been able to work with the Pueblo delegation. We all agree that if we are Republican or Democrat, that the state fair must stay in Pueblo.
Clarice Navarro.
This is a very easy question, and thank you for bringing this up. I proudly support the Republican nominee for President of the United States. There is absolutely no reason why I would support Hillary Clinton. She left Americans to die in Benghazi, and one of those men was from Otero County.
So Jason Munoz was right to hit her on that policy, and this is politics. So there are so many times that he should have gone, talked shit about Trump. There was that one time when he said that Hillary was really qualified and got a big response.
Jason?
Well, I would love to go on the attack here. I'll just talk about why I'm voting for Hillary Clinton. She is the most experienced, knowledgeable candidate that we have.
And then he said that she's the most qualified ever.
There has never been a more qualified person than her. I respectfully disagree. And to keep it in the Arkansas River Basin. We have a unique and complex set of water laws in Colorado that have been good for our state.
On to our next question. Jason, this one goes to you first. Please. Well, let these two debate. For Jason, this is your question. What specific actions would you take if elected to protect southern Colorado's water?
We still have issues with the Fountain Creek and others, but I will absolutely make this a priority when I'm the next representative from State House District 47.
Clarice Navarro.
Okay. Jason, anything else?
No, no, thank you.
Okay? This one, and speaking of legislation, let's suppose that you knew that you could pass a single piece of legislation, one that you know that would go all the way through. What would that legislation be?
That legislation would be less regulations, less mandates, and less taxes.
Clarice, let's follow that line of questioning. If we cut taxes, what cuts would you make in the state budget to make that work?
Wow, this is a great question. There are so many extra lines of that budget that it takes our joint budget committee from November until March to thumb through that line by line.
Tell me, even Carrie Kennedy, who I have, a love-hate relationship with, the more she is like Bernie Sanders, the better. So she speaks up against marijuana, or she speaks in favor of marijuana, whereas her girl Hillary said the research was out. So this is a good thing. She speaks up against the bankers.
And I am proud to tell you that I have not once voted for a governor's budget. So there are so many changes in those, I don't know where to start.
So we got to keep the poor people in mind. The main reason to get a gas station is to provide it at cost. If we can sell gas at this level and still make a profit, then so should all these other companies. So we're not just trying to undercut them just to undercut them. We're not trying to sink ourselves. We're just making sure they're not price gouging us. Make sure they're not gouging the shit out of us during a crisis. Like, what, gas is like fucking $3 now?
But I do know that when I make those changes, it's everyone here and everyone at home that will see that money back in your pockets.
Anyway, so let's extrapolate the policies. Jason Munoz is for government services. He's for a moderate tax in order to pay for essential services. That's good. Stand up. Take your licks. He's against inequality when it comes to education, the redistribution of education funds. So he's against inequality. Is he against all inequality? Does he want to do something about poverty? Something about homelessness? There's no chance that Clarice Navarro will do anything about homelessness or poverty.
Jason?
This was the rebuttal? No, thank you.
Okay.
Zero chance. She doesn't give a shit about the poor. She doesn't give a shit about the homeless. She could give a fuck less about them. She would rather throw them in jail like that homeless guy that had an ecstasy pill, right? There was a homeless guy here in Pueblo. He had an ecstasy pill. Instead of giving him a home, we threw him in jail, and now we're putting charges on him because that's going to be a great deterrent, right? Let's fuck up his life even more. Maybe if we fuck up this guy's life, his life, which is already fucked up to begin with.
Yeah, I would introduce legislation and support legislation that ensures that Southern Colorado gets their fair share of the pie.
So the man, he's homeless, 63 years old, he's already got a fucked up existence to begin with, so let's make his life more fucked up. That's the solution. That's a Clarice Navarro solution. The Jason Munoz solution, I think, would be more compassionate.
Well, Steve, it's no secret that water rights is a very complicated issue, but it is perhaps the most important issue our community faces in preparing for the future. At the legislature, I'm going to fight to keep our water clean, accessible to the farmers and ranchers who depend on it. Steve, just real quick, that's a nice story, but not every student has the opportunity to sell a steer to open a bank account to save for college.
As a responsible parent, and as a parent who is engaged, I will absolutely make sure that every opportunity is available to my child.
So he's pro-government services. He's against inequality. He believes in infrastructure, education, jobs, and health care, and water, and transportation. And he's in favor of Wi-Fi. I think that Wi-Fi is an absolute brilliant idea. Let's get Wi-Fi here for the city of Pueblo. It is good for businesses, but more importantly, it's good for us. It would be $8 an hour or $8 a month. You want to pay a high-speed internet, a fiber optic high-speed internet, and only have to pay $8 a month? Let's get everybody some fucking internet.
And as my record shows, I have fought for Colorado water to stay in Colorado. There have been times where I have voted against Republican legislators that have come north and have tried to take our water in the Arkansas Valley. I will continue to keep that fight up.
The digital divide is making the haves even more haves and have-nots even more have-nots. The rich get richer, the poor get poorer, same old song and dance. Having Wi-Fi, free Wi-Fi for the entire city is a way to decrease that gap. There is a digital gap between the rich and the poor. Imagine not having any internet. If you don't have any, if you're looking at this, if you're watching this, then that means you are privileged and that you have internet. There are people in Pueblo City that has never had any internet except for the times that they go to school, and that's it. They never have any, so how do they know what the hell's going on? The internet is a vital resource.
And when I'm elected, I will make those same opportunities to my son and all of our children.
The internet is not a fad. The internet is a Gutenberg printing press revolution multiplied by billions. That's why we're living in the internet. That's why we're living in the information age, the internet age. That's why we're living in the postmodern society.
Jason, rebuttal?
No, thank you.
No? Anything else, Clarice, on that? Okay.
So Clarice Navarro is in favor of big government when it comes to having more ICE members here, when it comes to having a police, state FBI, MIC. She is fascist through and through. Of course she's for fascist government structures. We need to not take care of the poor and the homeless, but we need to beat them up and throw them in jail and keep them in line, keep them scared. She believes in inequality. He's against inequality. She's in favor of it because in order for capitalism to work, you need to have the group of people that's going to pick up the trash and sweep the floors. You need a poor group. Capitalism intentionally creates inequality.
Okay. Jason?
Thank you, Steve. You know, it's no secret. I'm a Democrat. My opponent is a Republican. I'm a little surprised that she is so vigorously supporting this person. When even former Republican presidents do not endorse him because he is unfit to serve as the highest office in the land.
It intentionally does it. You need cheap labor. Somebody's got to do the cheap labor. And if you're living a decent lifestyle and you don't need to do that job, then why would you?
Clarice?
So who are you supporting?
So Clarice Navarro is in favor of inequality. He's against it. She's against government services and taxes. Her big thing is cutting taxes, austerity, cut. And his big thing is let's care about people and get the government services to the people. He's right. He's right on inequality. He's right when it comes to taxes and government services.
It's no secret that I'm supporting the Democratic nominee, just like you're supporting the Republican nominee. At least...
I'd like to stay on this question just for another minute. The second part of that was, and we got one response, is why? Why are you supporting that person other than that's a person from your party?
She's actually a right-wing extremist. I did learn one thing. She mentioned that there's 800 bills that are signed every year. 800 bills. So what the fuck is she signing? I know her personality. She's a far right-wing radical Republican. She's not even a libertarian. She doesn't have principles. She just goes along with maybe her Republican daddy, her Republican preacher. I bet there's some authority figure in her life that she gets all of her orders from.
When it comes with funding, when it comes with education, transportation, agriculture, you name it. I don't think we're getting our fair share of what we should be getting in this state. We pay our taxes. Why do the richer communities up north tend to get all of their get the wealth of that funding back?
I speak to lots of Latinos for whom, you know, the Trump candidacy is no joking matter, and it really hurts them with labeling Latinos rapists and criminals and drug dealers. I mean, how does that make you feel?
We have to rise above. We need to stop with the labeling.
But it's insulting, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's discriminatory.
It is. I do not have a problem fighting for House District 47 and the best interests of Colorado.
She's anti-Common Core. I think he criticized Common Core too, which I don't understand that, to be honest with you. The Common Core, we have math, we all have science, social studies, and English. That's a good Common Core. So the general idea of Common Core, I agree with. She's anti-Dreamers. So they both agreed, I think, on Common Core. Both were against Common Core, which is disappointing to hear. But she's anti-Dreamers and he's pro-Dreamers.
And are you going to vote for Trump?
Absolutely.
How do you reconcile those two things?
He's probably not knowledgeable of the way that he's coming across. I think once you acknowledge the way that you've put something forward, then you go back and you correct it and apologize for that.
And make sure that everybody is clear where I stand. I believe in smaller government. Government gets in the way. The only way to be successful is to reinvest in your community. And how do you do that? Fewer taxes.
I got to learn that Jason Munoz was born in Pueblo. He was raised on the east side. His dad is a steel worker. I also got to learn that she was raised in Otero County, maybe? She wasn't raised here. Clarice Navarro is not from around here. Clarice Navarro is not Pueblo. Jason Munoz is. Jason Munoz is Pueblo.
I hope that I earn the voters' support because I am a man who comes from this area. I bleed Southern Colorado, and I want to take the responsibility of being your representative in the State House of Representatives.
Am I first?
Yes, Clarice, I'm sorry.
Thank you. My presidential nominee has the business experience that we need to turn this country around. My presidential nominee asked me how we can better serve Colorado. And most importantly, what's important in Southern Colorado. That speaks volumes when someone is that involved and that engaged to take the minute and ask the questions.
Slogan, but it means nothing.
I believe that Donald Trump has that sense that it's time to make things good.
Have we no standards in this country?
So there's, these are several policy ideas that, distinctions. We get to see their personality, the differences in their personality, then we get to see the differences in their policies. And he was for government services. He was against inequality. He was for the Dreamers. She was against the Dreamers. She's against taxes, and therefore she's in favor of less government services. I don't know if she's for eliminating all of them. I don't know if she's a Michael Stapleton or not, a hardcore libertarian, but she's for austerity.
The second part of that was, and we got one response, is why? Why are you supporting that person other than that's a person from your party?
Which he hasn't done.
I'm going to say no because I don't know.
Do you have faith in Trump? Really? About who can be a leader? I mean, it's really kind of pathetic. He's a maniac. I think he's a sociopath. And I want nothing to do with it.
And she is anti-Dreamers, and she's in favor of inequality. She believes in the capitalist system, and she's a fascist who wants to make sure that the corporations and the government become one, and they crush the people. Crush the people so that way the corporations always win and the people always lose.
He's going to need some work and time and take a lot of thought.
I don't think he has it in him.
This is my cell phone number.
This is my website,
Okay.
and I'd be more than happy to either come back or visit with you on a different time.
Clarice, do these have Republican written on them? How would people know you're a Republican?
Well, now that you know me, does it matter if I'm a Republican or a Democrat?
I will be accessible to my constituents. I will put my constituents first in all decisions I'm making at the Capitol. And I believe in the potential that this district and this region has, and I want to go to Denver and fight for that potential.
Jason?
Well, I would love to go on the attack here. I'll just talk about why I'm voting for Hillary Clinton. She is the most experienced, knowledgeable candidate that we have. There has never been a more qualified person than her.
Clarice Navarro.
No, but I wonder whether the voters may want to know if they're thinking of voting for you. That
So the question I'm asking
Yeah.
you, does it matter? After you've spent time with me and you know me and you've got to hear us conversate, does it matter if I'm a Democrat or Republican, or am I representing my district?
it's hardly surprising if Navarro seems awkward. This is a state where as many as 69% of voters have an unfavourable view of the Republican candidate for the White House.
And when I'm elected, I will make those same opportunities to my son and all of our children.
I have faith that Donald Trump will make America great again. How about that?
Do you really? Do you really? That's the first time I've heard you. I'm not sure if you're telling the truth. Do you really believe that?
Charlotte Perez was born in Pueblo too. Charlotte Perez was born at St. Mary Corwin Hospital. So Charlotte Perez is more Pueblo than Clarice Navarro, or Clarice Navarro. Clarice Navarro, she ain't Pueblo.
And when I'm elected, I will make those same opportunities to my son and all of our children. And when I'm elected, I will make those same opportunities to my son and all of our children.